If you ever driven through a lonely, winding Malaysian road at dusk, you know that the silence isn't always comforting. Sometimes it feels like the trees are watching, and sometimes it feels like you are not alone in your car, even when there's no one in the passenger seat. Tonight's story is about Rose, a strong, independent woman who drives Grab for a living. She's used to long hours, odd passengers, and the occasional creep trying their luck. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared her for the day she picked up a woman named Lily. Good evening, fellow creeps, and welcome to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, we have heard a lot about Grab drivers or e-hailing drivers' stories, right? But tonight's story, it's slightly different. If you're ready, let's get into tonight's story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
Rose was a strong-willed woman. In her early 40s and still single, she carried herself with a certain toughness, but not without a soft touch of femininity. She had been living with her aunt since she was little, yet she never forgot her own mother, the woman who brought her into this world. Rose worked tirelessly, not only to support herself, but also to help care for both her aunt and her mother. With no high-level education and limited job opportunities, she chose to work as a Grab driver. The job, mostly dominated by men, never once intimidated her. She competed healthily, striving to earn an honest living. Day in, day out, Rose drove passengers, male, female, far or near, without complaint. She had faced all kinds of challenges as a female Grab driver. Some male passengers had tried to take advantage of her, but Rose always managed to handle it gracefully without raising her voice or getting into ugly confrontations. Her friendly personality and ability to make people feel at ease became her signature charm. Passengers appreciated her careful driving, her focus on safety, and the comfortable experience she provided. Many even became repeat customers. One afternoon, during lunch, Rose overheard her fellow drivers talking. "Hey, don't go to that area late in the evening, especially not at night. That road has caught many people off guard," one of them warned. Curious, Rose joined in the conversation. "Hey guys, what's with this lively discussion about?" she asked. Pak Mat, one of the older, more experienced drivers, looked at her seriously. "Rose, it's about Bukit B Road heading to Kampung S. That stretch is keras," he said, using the local slang for spiritually dangerous. "Plenty of people have had strange encounters there. Be careful if you ever have to drive passengers through that road." Fast forward. For the rest of the week, Rose continued working as usual. It was a monsoon season and bookings weren't as frequent, which meant she had to work longer hours to meet her target. Sometimes she was still driving near midnight, but she didn't mind as long as it was honest work. That day, she received a booking from Bukit B to Kampung S. Remember, exactly one of her fellow drivers said this particular road. From Bukit B, it was about 1.5 hour drive. That time, it was only 3:20 p.m., so she figured she still have time before dusk. She arrived at the pickup location, a modest but well-kept house. She called the passenger to inform her that she had arrived. Moments later, she saw a woman step out of the house carrying a black umbrella. The rain was still coming down heavily as the woman walked slowly toward Rose's car. She slid into the back seat. Rose noticed that she was a Chinese descendant, dressed in a green blouse. She looked to be in her early 30s, younger than Rose, with her hair neatly tied in a bun, showing off her slender neck. Her face was strikingly pretty, unlike the typical features most associated with the Chinese community in that area. Her eyes were big and round, her nose slightly pointed and small, her skin fair with a natural blush. "Hi, miss. Heading to Kampung S, correct?" Rose asked. "Yes, I'm going to Kampung S," the woman replied softly. The rain grew heavier and visibility dropped. Rose slowed her driving, carefully not to risk on the slippery road. "Have you been driving Grab long?" the woman suddenly asked, breaking the silence. Rose, momentarily startled, answered, About 3 years now. Doesn't it feel strange, competing with all the men?" "Oh, no, not at all. In fact, I feel more comfortable doing this job," Rose said truthfully. The woman smiled politely. "My name is Lillian. Just call me Lily." She explained that she had just arrived from Johor Bahru 2 days earlier and was staying at a friend's house in Bukit B before attending a family gathering at a resort in Kampung S. Lily was chatty and Rose enjoyed the conversation. They talked about everything under the sun. When they reached Kampung S, Lily requested to be dropped off directly at one particular resort. The road there was narrow, only wide enough for one vehicle at a time, with rubber trees on one side and oil palm plantation on the other. To get to the resort, they had to climb a steep hill of reddish soil. Rose hesitated at first, worried her car might not make it up to the muddy slope. But Lily reassured her that her relatives were already up there and it would be fine. Halfway up, Rose saw a woman walking alone by the oil palm estate. Thinking she might be a resort worker, Rose stopped to ask, "Assalamu alaikum. Could I ask you something?" "Yes, what is it, miss? Where are you headed?" The woman replied without answering Rose's greeting. She was wearing what looked like a resort staff uniform. "I'm heading to the resort at top of this hill. Can a car get up there?" "Oh, sure. Just drive straight up," the woman said. But something didn't feel right. On the muddy, unpaved road, there wasn't a single tire track. If Lily's relatives had driven up earlier in whatever vehicle that they are using, there should have been a clear tracks in the mud. Yet, there were none. When Rose turned back to ask the staff member another question, somehow that lady vanished. She was no longer there. Rose pushed on. After struggling with the climb, she finally reached the top. It was flat up there, shaded by tall trees. She saw many vehicles. Indeed, there were many vehicles parked in front of the resort. Yet, again, no tire marks anywhere. The resort itself somewhat looked abandoned, its walls covered with green moss. It was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that felt heavy. "Thank you for bringing me here. I really appreciate your effort." Lily's voice came suddenly, now outside of Rose's window. Rose hadn't even seen her open the door. "You should go inside, Miss Lily. It's almost dark," Rose suggested. "It's alright. I'll go in soon. You drive safely, okay?" "You have a kind heart." Lily smiled and waved. The way down the hill was strangely smooth, nothing like the climb. By the time she reached the main road, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. That's when she checked on her dashboard. The dashboard clock showed 4 p.m. and Rose's watch showed the exact same time. This confused her. Why? Is because the entire journey from Bukit B plus the steep climb to the resort should have taken much longer. The last time that she checked, it was 3:20 p.m. Later that night, she called her friend and told her everything. Her friend fell silent before saying, "You might have been tested by a makhluk halus, a term for the spirit, and probably the spirit lives up there." And the friend confirmed by saying that the hilltop resort, it has been abandoned for a long time. There's an old story. A beautiful Chinese woman married an Englishman who built that resort. But jealousy and envy led to tragedy. The man was, and she was also brutally assaulted, and since then, people have claimed to see a beautiful Chinese woman asking to be taken to the top of the hill. Most who do so get lost for days and can't find their way out. Rose shuddered. She was lucky. Nothing bad had happened to her. Perhaps, her friend said, it was because of her kindness and genuine willingness to help others. In the end, kindness was repaid with kindness. Well, for tonight's story, I am gonna jump out of the normal things that a person would say about this one particular story. I'm gonna say that probably Lily is actually on a mission to find who had actually her and the husband. That's why she had been taking all these rides going up to the resort until eventually, or hopefully, that she found her attacker. Then she is gonna take that particular revenge. Probably that's why, because you see, people who take her up to the resort either only get lost, or people like Rose, nothing happened to her. Are you a e-hailing driver? Do you have stories to share? Well, I would love to hear it. And for those that are not in that e-hailing industry, what do you think of this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for listening in. I'm Kim, Creepy with Coffee, and good night.